Sharing my deck. Yeah. So welcome to this session, and so this session is about onto the building the CI/CD pipelines and complete CI/CD process with the help of the Jenkins. And let me give you my small introduction to you all. So I'm Manish Soni and working as a senior cloud engineer, and I am also a AWS Community Builder and holding a professional level of certificates from the AWS. And I have around 5 years of experience, and I started my career from the DevOps and the cloud. Okay, so today's agenda is like we will go on some basics of CI/CD, and then we will learn about the particular one tool about the Jenkins. Okay, so the agenda is pretty much clear. Like we will learn about what is CI/CD, what are the advantages of the CI/CD, and what are the available CI/CD tools in the market, and then we will go for the Jenkins particular tool, and we will learn about the basics of Jenkins, how you can install in your system, and how you can create your first pipeline or first build job. Okay, and these things will be helpful in your DevOps career. And if you want to become a DevOps engineer or cloud engineer, then you can start with those particular hands-on labs. Okay, so that will be really helpful to you. Okay, so let me just start with it. Like, what is CI/CD? Okay, so into the software development process, there is a complete one process. Okay, so when any application is going to build, so there is some steps we need to follow. Okay, so let's suppose you are building some of the application, and for building that application, first you need to do a planning. So what are the uh, requirements you will get from the client, and uh, what are the requirements you need to apply onto your particular application. Okay, and once the requirements are clear, then all the requirements is gone to the developers. Okay, so in all the organization there are different teams, different departments, like development department, then DevOps department, cloud department, and some security department and all. Okay. So after planning your code, you will give all the requirement, necessary requirement to your coders or software developers. Okay. And they, let me just check. Okay. Yeah. So when we give all the requirements to the developers, they will start coding the application. Okay, they will start working on the particular feature. So CI/CD is a heart of the DevOps. Okay, so if let me give you some small introduction of the DevOps as well. So DevOps is the integration of developers and the operations teams. Okay, so this is a culture, and previously we are using some agile methodology for building a software development. But currently in all the organizations, we are using the DevOps philosophy or DevOps culture. So our main focus is to reduce the time, reduce the manual effort, and try to automate everything. Okay. So when you give all the code to developer build the features, and after writing the code, they need to build their code. Okay, building of the code means like they need to install some specific libraries. Okay, and some modules. So each programming language has some of the particular modules and libraries they are using for a particular applications or particular functionality. Okay, so what happened for building this? They need some automation requirement. Like previously, how they are building, they are going to the servers and manually building their code and manually testing the code, and then they will upload their code to the live production server. Okay, but with the help of CI/CD, what happened? This thing will be gonna automate. So what you need to do? Once the developers has done the code, after that that code will automatically go to the building system, and that CI/CD system will automatically build the code, automatically test your code, and then automatically release your code onto the particular server. So uh, we call a live server as a production server. Okay, in the technical terms. Okay, So they will deploy your code onto the production systems, and from there we can easily do operate our code. Okay, so this is the particular two part. CI means continuous integration, and CD means continuous delivery or continuous deployment. Okay, so continuous integration will what happen. So when developers are writing code, they are not writing a complete application in a one shot, right? They are building some small features. So what this continuous integration will do, it will just integrate their code, and what happen, it will just build and test their code, and then deploy the small parts. So if I say, like previously what happened, only if we are deploying one application, that will take around 3 to 4 months. Okay, for preparing everything manually and preparing to deploy and everything we need to plan. And with the help of CI/CD, now I can say, like in a one day we can deploy multiple code, multiple functionality. So it is very easy, and it can just remove everything from the, like we don't need to do manually anything. It will completely automate. Okay, so this is the basics of the CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery. So hope you got it. So this is it, and now we will check about the what are the advantages of CI/CD? Why we are implementing the CI/CD into the DevOps culture, or in any organization? So in today's world, like every organization uses the CI/CD, and there are few advantages of it. Like you can see, as I wrote up, like it will speed up the deployment, right? So we can deploy multiple times in a day, and we can fix the bugs. Any issue will become, then we can get to know, like there is some issue, and again we can pass it to developer, and developer can fix it, and again we can deploy it. Okay, and also it is completely automated, so there is no chance for the manual mistake. So once we have developed the scripts and all, so the system will be ready, and it will be automated, so there is no chance for doing some manual mistakes and all. Okay, and then we can go for a so we have a lots of testing softwares available into the CI/CD itself. So there are lots of plugins. So they are also that also used into the CI/CD, and we have the leverage of reducing the errors by using those automated tests. Okay, and it also reduce the cost, because there is no we need to put a timing for the debugging and manually interfacing onto the deployment process. So there is no interfere of that. And the best thing is, it is consistent with the different environments. So what happened into the organizations, we have a different environments. Like we have a development environment, then staging environment, and after that we have something called a production environment. So first the application will be tested into the development environment, then it will go for the staging or user acceptance testings. Okay, and after all those tests, it will go into the production. So whatever you have deployed into the development, you can also deploy into the production one, but maybe some production level code changes you might need to do. So it is also a consistency one. And we have a very low downtime then, right? So we have different deployment strategies, like blue, green, canary, and the linear deployment. So with the help of the different deployment strategy, it will take a minimum, or I can say there is no downtime if you are deploying something new. So you can also say, like before CI/CD, there are lots of downtime we need to maintain for if you are deploying a new feature or something. But now it's very easy. Like we can deploy onto the other server, and just make other server as a offline or some working for the users. So this is also a very good part of CI/CD. And next thing we will check about the what are the tools available. Now we have learned about what is CI/CD and what is the concept of CI/CD. Now the question is how to implement CI/CD in our projects. Okay, so in the market currently there are lots of CI/CD tools available. So some are of the like paid tool, and some are from the open source tools. So here I have written some of the CIC tools, but there are a lot. Okay, so the first tool is the Jenkins. For the Jenkins, we will learn about the deeply into the in uh, next thing. But apart from the Jenkins, there are GitLab, Bitbucket, GitHub Actions, Circle CI, TeamCity, and lots of different CI/CD tools. So what happened? Like every version control system or any other organization have its own CI/CD tool, but the concept of the CI/CD we can easily learn from the Jenkins. And why we are learning from the Jenkins? Because Jenkins is an open source CI/CD tool. You can easily install in your local systems or any servers, and from that you can easily learn the concept of CI/CD. Once you learn one tool, after that what happened, if your organization or your project is using some different tool, so that is also you can easily adapt. So there are some scripts only, so that is very readable format. So that will not you need to do hard coding here. You don't need to do something like that. So these are the different types of tools. So let's start with the Jenkins. Hope till this is it is clear. Let me just verify any chat and all. Okay, so these are the things from the CC tools. Okay, now things will be come from the Jenkins. Let's go for the Jenkins. So here we are learning from the what is the Jenkins. Now so as I mentioned, like Jenkins is the open source automation server, and it will help us to automate complete software development cycle. Okay, so as I mentioned about the CI/CD tool and CI/CD process, like we need to build, test, and deploy, right? So these all things will be easily facilitated by the Jenkins, and it will provide both continuous integration plus the continuous delivery both. And it is a Java based application, so we should have a Java here, and it will run on a something like a Apache Tomcat. If you heard previously or not, let it be like this is the backend of Jenkins. And the first requirement for the Jenkins, like your system should have the Java, and it is completely builded onto the Java, and then we can run on a Jenkins there. Okay, so let me show you about the features of Jenkins. So and these are some theoretical parts, but after that we will start doing some demo. Okay, so the features of Jenkins, if I say, this is very easily, like if we are going to install it, so it is first thing, it is very easy installation for it. Like we can easily go to the Jenkins documentation, we will find the installation directories and the links, and from there we can easily install it. And also it comes from the easy configuration, so there is not much complex configuration we need to do when we are using Jenkins. And we have a different available plugins into the Jenkins. So um, every third party companies and communities creating its own plugins. So let's suppose you are using some cloud based application. Okay, so so this that particular cloud also built some plugins for the Jenkins. Let's suppose if we can take an example of AWS, Azure, or some other cloud providers. So we have a different types of plugins, and we have extensible, like we can easily extend the Jenkins plugins, like we can create our custom plugins as well. Okay, and also like it is basically a server and client based application. Like we can create a master and slave architecture here, so we can create one Jenkins server and we can deploy on a multiple machines with that. And it is just a free one, so it's easy to install and we can easily use. So um, let's try to go for the installation part, and then I will show about the Jenkins architecture, so you will get to know like how it actually works. So first let me go and try to install it. Okay, so for the installation thing, you can just simply type Jenkins install. So let me just type it for you. So whether you have a which system, like you have Linux, Windows, Mac OS, you are on the Docker. So any system you can easily install into the Jenkins. And currently I'm using the Linux environment, so I will check for the Linux. But if you have a Windows laptop, that is also easy to install. So let me open the bot. So majorly people have this, and also it is come from the Mac OS as well, so we can go with anyone. So also let me show you first for the Windows. So here you will get complete uh, information, like what are the prerequisites you want. Okay, so what will be the RAM, what will be the drive space you should have, and also it will give the software requirements. So the basic one is the Java is main requirement for the Jenkins. And then we have a complete step-by-step guidance, like how you need to install into the Windows. Okay, same as currently I'm going for the Linux one. So for Linux also it has the complete requirement. So it comes from the different flavors of the Linux, like it should be a Debian, Fedora, or a Red Hat. Okay, so currently I'm using the Ubuntu, so let's go for the Debian one. So there is two things. When we're going to install the Jenkins, there are two versions of the Jenkins are available. One is the LTS version, like long-term support release. So what happened, like it will release, like you can see it's chosen every 12 weeks. Okay, so it is the stable release, like maybe as I mentioned, like it is the open source project, and most of the developers are working on enhancing the Jenkins power, right? So what happened, if they have added some feature and some feature is buggy, so in that case you will not get any error or something into the long term support. And there is another is the weekly release, like every week they are releasing some features or something. If you install this, might be you will get some issues. Okay, so always go with the long term support version, so you will get a stable version in your system. And after that we will also get the installation of the Java, so you can easily install the Java from here. So let me start my system, and so I have spin up one virtual machine, so you can also do it in your local. That's okay. So let me just copy and paste the uh, links here. So I am first installing the Java, and then I will install the Jenkins. So it's easily here. Just you need to copy paste the commands, and if you are using Windows, then from the GUI you can perform everything very easily. Okay. Yeah, it will take some time to install it. And then we can go for the Java version, and you can see Java is installed in my system now, and we have a Java 17 here. Okay, now next thing is we need to go on to the installing of the Jenkins. So here I just need to just copy paste the command one by one. So just installing it. So one by one I am copying because you can see everything. Okay, so first it is just adding the key, and then I need to add the key into the source of my apt module. So one more thing, like if you are not familiar with the Linux, then don't get like it will not possible or something. It's also very easy, and if you are doing in to the Windows, that is also fine. So it is just differ from the different OS type. And now I am going to install. And now I need to check is the Jenkins is start. Okay, so this is just a Linux command for checking the service. So same you can find into the Windows, like there is services. So if I type status of Jenkins service, and I can see here it is active and running. Now how you can access it? So it will be accessed from your local host or your any IP if you are using some server. So I am currently using one server, so I can use my IP. And if you are in your local system, you can just type local host colon 8080. So it will work onto the 8080 port. So if you put this port, then it will come. So let me just copy the IP and, and the port. Okay, so you can see it's loading, and so everything Jenkins will tell you what you need to do. So it is asking us to ensure Jenkins security setup administrator pass, but first it is written into the particular location. So if you are into the Windows, that will give you the different location path. If you are into the uh, uh, Linux, it will give the path here. So what I need to do, I need to copy the path, copy the secret from this particular path and put it here. Oh, let me just run some command. Okay. Once. Okay. So this is a command, cat command. Cat command is we are using into the Linux for reading as one file, and I'm using some sudo user for giving the permission. So this is a file that is presented into some root folder. So their original particular user doesn't have the permission. So I use the sudo, and then I use the command. And if you are into the Windows, you can directly open the file from the GUI. So that's okay. And let me just copy it and paste it there. Okay. Now it will give the two options to you. So install suggested plugins or go for the, you can also select the plugins to install. So as I mentioned, like Jenkins work onto the different plugins. So most of the plugins will be come directly. You can go for the suggested plugin, and if our application need more plugins and more different type of things, then we can go for a different plugin. So currently I'm going with the suggested plugins only. You can also go like this, and it will take a few minutes to install all those plugins. So here you can see there are different plugins are available. So hope you have heard about the term called a GitHub, or like a source version control. So we can also call as a VCS, like version control systems. So those are the repositories where we can upload the code. Okay, so it done all the uh, plugins, and I just need to create a one particular user for it. So I am just creating admin user. Password I am just typing any randomly, and full name is admin, and I'm putting some random email here. But if you are putting into, if you are setting into your organization or your project, you can put your own mail ID or something. Yeah. Okay. So it will also say what will be your Jenkins URL. So if you are going from the local host, it will give here, or we can also map this particular IP to particular domain. So we can easily go. Now save it and finish it. So start using Jenkins. Yeah. Now we have a complete screen of Jenkins. So this is a Jenkins dashboard. So before going into the creating of a job or anything, I will just tell you about the what is the architecture of Jenkins and how it actually works, and then we will go for a small demo like how we can create a small job from here. Okay, so let me back uh, to the deck. So this is the Jenkins architecture. So into the CI/CD process, as I mentioned, like when we give all the requirements to the coder, so coder will started working on to the particular feature, and they will push all their code into the particular repository. So these repositories available into the version control system. So version control systems you can mention, you can learn about like these is should be a GitHub, Bitbucket, or any type of version control repository. And after putting all the code, there is some internal trigger will be like invoke, and it will go to the Jenkins server and we can build a job. So this is the whole process. Also we can directly go to the Jenkins and set up a job there, and we can easily start that job, and we can also create a complete automation from here. So this is a particular architecture, but that will also comes with the advanced thing. So I'm not going to integrate the GitHub and other stuff because that will also need a separate complete session of how GitHub work. But we will just see how Jenkins will work directly. So let me go and try to create a job. Before creating a job, I think I have take a screenshot of uh, Jenkins GUI, like what are the things you will get here, and this is the particular job dashboard of the Jenkins. Okay, so I will share this PPT with you, so you can also go, and there is also I use some useful links, so you can use that. But particularly, we can go for the creating our first job. So just click onto the creator job. So I'm just putting first build job, and this should be going as a freestyle project. So there are different kinds of options into the Jenkins. We can create a pipeline, we can create a freestyle projects folder, and different type of stuff. So we can go for the project. Now let me go with that here. So when you come to this configuration, you will get lots of options here. So those options will be different onto the different kind of projects. Okay, so as I mentioned, like if you have a Git, okay, so if you have a Git repository, so what you can do, you can put your GitHub code here. So your repository URL here. So what it will do, the Jenkins will automatically fetch it, and for fetching it we need to set up some credentials here. So that also we can easily set up. So this is the one thing. Into the organization, what happened, they will store their complete code on a particular repositories, and those repositories link we can put here. So currently we don't have any repository, we can go for with the none. And there are some different uh, options here that we can skip for now. But I can suggest you can go and you can install the Jenkins in your system and try to use different options directly. And here this is the main option called a build step. So build step is like what we need to build. So here we have a some called a execute shell command or a execute a batch command. So if you are using Windows servers, so you can use Windows batch commands, and if you are using the Linux servers, you can use the shell command. So we can easily use the shell command here. And I'm using a simple command from the uh, like this is just a Linux command. What it will do, it will just print the particular thing. So here I am just writing this hello world. So what it gonna do, it will just go and print this particular word here. Okay, so here different options, so we can put any commands. Like this is just for the demo, but if you are building a particular software or some particular code, at the time you can put those all commands here. for the particular programming languages. Okay. Then there are some post actions also, but currently we are not using it. But what happened, like once the build has been completed, then we can also notify to particular developer like the build has been completed and your code has been deployed. So we have something called a notification. So we can use the email notification, we can use the different type of Slack or Teams notifications here. And here I'm just saving it. So now you will see a particular first job. So again, if I back to the dashboard, now you are seeing this first job here. And now I'm going to first job and just click onto the build now. So yeah, so it is green means it is builded. So let me open it and just check what it is done here. So into, if I go into the console output, so here you can see, yeah. So we have run this echo hello world command and it is printed the hello world and it is just finished as a success. Okay. So what basically it is doing, it is running all the commands what we have tried to run it. So let's suppose if you are building your own application, at that time you can put your all applications commands here, and then you can easily go and it will completely deploy your application. So this is this thing. And if you really want to learn Jenkins into the advanced level, okay, so into the IntrnForte we also created a complete course, like from scratch to you can learn how Jenkins works with the all the programming languages for the different. And I have also created lots of tasks. And also if you want to try your own, like if you are learning the DevOps, okay, so you can install the Jenkins and just create some small jobs from here. So you will get the idea. So into the organizations, we are the Jenkins is heavily used. Or if there is no Jenkins is using, if they are using some different CI/CD tool, then the concept is also the same. So everything will be the same, but this GUI will be gonna change. So I think that's it. So we can create a multiple jobs here and we can check it. So I think that's it for this session. And so I have just used some document links here, so you can also use this thing for your learning. And basically I told you, so just install in your local and just try to get familiar with the GUI first, and then you will get to know. Okay, so I think that's it for now, and I'm open for the questions. Yeah, any questions so far? So you can easily learn it for your uh, work as well. Like you can go and just install those stuff. And we have created a complete course onto the DevOps. Like if you are from a different background, right, not from the DevOps, at the time also you can easily use like you can learn complete DevOps from the scratch as well. And also if you are you are from the non IT background, right, so at that time also you can come with this particular thing. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can just visit to IntrnForte website, or you can do the email, and from that we can get in touch. Okay, I think uh, I think that's it for now. And yeah, thank you for joining this session. And I'm happy, like on to the weekend you have got it. So happy weekend to you. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, thank you.